Bismillah wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to share with you a very famous story, the story of Barseesa. There are very great lessons in it for us to learn, and it is about how Shaitan misleads mankind. This story took place long time ago during the time of Bani Israel, sometime after Prophet Isa alayhi salam and before Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came into this world. So who was Barseesa? He was a very pious worshipper, a true Christian monk. He used to live in a church where he had his place of worship. He was trustworthy, well-known, and respected in his town for his piety, and he had a soft heart. There were also 3 brothers in the town who had a sister who was never married. The 3 brothers needed to leave their town to participate in a war. They did not want to leave her alone and wanted someone to take care of her. The people of the town suggested the 3 brothers to leave her with Barseesa, so they went to Barseesa and asked for his help. Barseesa, being a pious man, said, "No, I seek refuge from the cursed Shaitan." He was basically scared of falling into sin with her. Shaitan came to Barseesa in the form of whisperings. Shaitan whispered in his heart, "What if they can't find someone good and leave her with someone bad? Wouldn't that be your fault?" Barseesa thought about it and then decided to accept their request and help the woman, on the condition that she doesn't stay with him, rather she stays in the house next to the church. Also, he would leave the food outside the church and she would come get it herself. He did this so that he can stay away from sins and wanted to prevent meeting with her. But after some time, Shaitan returned. Shaitan whispered in his heart again, "Well, she's going back and forth to collect the food. There are people with ill intentions who see her and might harm her. Why don't you leave the food closer for her?" Barseesa got convinced and started leaving the food outside the house. Shaitan returned to him for the 3rd time, and he whispered, "Well, she still has to come out of the house to get the food, and evil people are still able to see her, and it's not good for a woman who lives alone. Why don't you go inside and leave it on the table so that no one sees her?" Barseesa got convinced again, and he started leaving the food on the table inside the house. After some time, Shaitan returned again. "She's all alone and has no one to talk to. Why don't you talk to her? She's in a state of fear. She should be put to ease by your conversation." So Barseesa started talking to her from behind a door to screen himself. Shaitan whispered again, "Because of this screen, you two have to almost shout at each other. Why don't you just go inside and talk to her comfortably?" So finally, Shaitan was successful in getting them alone in a room. Shaitan made her look more appealing to Barseesa, and they both ended up committing zina. She became pregnant, and the baby was born, and the brothers still didn't return from war. Shaitan whispered, "What have you done? Look at the result of your evil. Get rid of the evidence, otherwise the brothers will kill you." In order to protect his honor in the town, Barseesa killed the baby. Shaitan whispered, "Do you think you can kill the child of a woman and expect her not to tell anyone?" So Barseesa killed her as well and buried her alongside the baby in the same room the woman was in. Barseesa made a fake grave somewhere outside with animal bones in it. When the brothers returned, Barseesa informed them that she died of illness. After seeing the grave and making dua for her, they returned home and accepted Allah's decree. Later that night, Shaitan came to the brothers in their dream and informed them about what Barseesa had actually done and where the child and their sister could be found. The brothers got upset and confused and informed each other of the dream, and they all said they had the same dream. So they believed that it must be true, and when they dug up the fake grave, they found it empty. They then dug the place Shaitan showed them in the dream and found the child and woman in there. The brothers got furious. The brothers took Barseesa to the leader to get his punishment. Barseesa was given the death penalty for the 2 murders and illegal relationship with a woman without marriage. Shaitan came to Barseesa for the last time, and he revealed himself and told him he was the one whispering the thoughts to him. And he said that he could save Barseesa from the death penalty as long as Barseesa makes sajda to him. Barseesa, out of desperation, made sajda to him to save his life. This confirmed his kufr, and Shaitan said to him, I am free of you. I fear Allah, the Lord of the Alameen. And he left. Barseesa was sentenced to death. It is said that on the Day of Judgment, he will be resurrected making sujood to Shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Holy Qur'an, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم كمثل الشيطان إذ قال للإنسان اكفر فلما كفر قال إني بريء منك إني أخاف الله رب العالمين. Their allies deceived them like Shaitan when he says to man, disbelieve in Allah. But when man disbelieves in Allah, Shaitan says, I am free of you. I fear Allah, the Lord of the Alameen. There are important lessons to be learned from this story. Firstly, we must be aware of Shaitan's trap. Shaitan starts his trap with something that looks good to us and sounds reasonable and logical. He actually works step by step, making us commit small sins first, and then moving on to major sins. Secondly, we must know the goal of Shaitan. Shaitan's ultimate goal is for us to commit the biggest sin, shirk. When a person dies as a mushrik, then hell is destined for him forever. And we also see from this story that Shaitan is very patient. He is a master in deception. He didn't tell Barseesa to commit shirk when he whispered him the first time. Shaitan's full-time job is to mislead us. Also know that any person can get trapped by Shaitan. Barseesa was the most pious person in the town, and Shaitan was able to make him the worst in the town. Even the most pious can get trapped and become the worst. We also realize from this story the importance of knowledge. Though worship is very important in our lives, it is not enough. Seeking knowledge can give us the awareness to protect ourselves from Shaitan's trap, from not only the big traps but also the small ones. We learn through this knowledge that not only is indecency prohibited in Islam, but also actions that lead to it. And we learn the rulings related to lowering the gaze and so on. So videos like this can help us get that knowledge. Lastly, there are many du'as that can help us be steadfast in our religion. Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to make this dua often. Ya muqallib al-qulub, thabbit qalbi ala dinik. O turner of the hearts, make my heart firm upon your religion.